Devil May Cry 5 reviews are finally out. PS4 firmware 6.50 just dropped this week, as well as we got Game Informer's Game of the Month, and that is Control. Let's go over all this and more on this week's rundown. How's it going, everyone? It is Alna here. Welcome back to another this week's rundown, I guess. So yeah, this week's been pretty slow on news. Obviously a lot of the news that, is going to be relevant in this video I covered in, my past video, but there still is some pretty cool, interesting announcements, so I guess we'll just start off with PS4 firmware 6.50. Of course, we've been waiting on name changes for a while, and sadly, this is not it. Obviously, 6.50 is obviously a mid-step. 6.0 wasn't even really anything at all. So, yeah, 6.50 brought some interesting changes. In fact, it only really dropped one change, and that was the ability to remote play your PS4 games on your iOS devices. So anything like an Apple device, obviously, will work now for PS4 remote play. Previously, I think the only device that could do that was probably, the Vita. So, yeah. I don't think many people will care about this. I'm sure people are going to be trying this out. I've seen people trying it out on Twitter. I've heard good and bad things. Obviously, you're touching your phone, so it's not going to be as good as like a DualShock 4, but hey, that's the thing. Control is this month's Game Informer coverage game. Yeah, Control, obviously by Remedy, was announced at E3 2018 last year, and yeah, it looked quite cool. Obviously, this is coming off of, Microsoft's Quantum Break with them, so yeah, there's a lot of, interest in this game. I definitely seen in the community. We got new details on the game. Apparently it's supposed to be more like a Metroidvania than anything from like a linear kind of game. It's just far from that. Control apparently takes place in that one building that kind of changes around. Obviously it's like one old house in New York apparently. That's like obviously, possessed with like a weird, I don't know, government thing. It's going to take place in that one building, but obviously as we've seen in the trailer, everything's going to just kind of change around as you're entering new phases and stuff. And yeah, apparently the game's also supposed to have a skill tree, and it's going to introduce a new AI system that they haven't done before, haven't changed in a while. Like Quantum Break got like kind of regarded for like the weird AI. Apparently they're changing it. They're not going to be like set people that spawn in like a set enemies, there's always going to be like these 5 guys when you turn around this corner in the part of the game. It's supposed to be kind of dynamic based on your actions in the game, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, Game Informer will be dropping off, obviously new details as the month goes along. So yeah, go check it out there. DMC5 reviews have come out this week. Obviously Devil May Cry 5 is pretty much the only game that came out this week that's pretty much of note, really, I guess. And yeah, the game seems to be reviewing really well. It's in the high 80s. Obviously, the game is being critically acclaimed. I believe it's like either the first or second in terms of people's ranking now of the series that people have played it. Yeah, it's supposed to be a really good game. I myself have already downloaded the game. It's on my PS4 right now. I'm just waiting for my surgery. Obviously, as you guys are seeing this on Friday, I'll be probably done by the surgery at this point, and yeah, hopefully that goes well and I'll be able to play Devil May Cry 5 this weekend. And yeah, if you guys have already started it, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, try to leave it as spoiler free as possible. And yeah, that's a big note. Alongside this, Days Gone previews have also dropped earlier this week, and the game seems to be doing pretty good. I think in the past it always got kind of like mixed reviews, but it seems like it finally kind of passed that threshold where, obviously it's still being seen as generic to many people, but people are starting to see it as good, and it's being improved on at least. And yeah, the game seems to be shaping up nicely here because the game's coming out next month. And yeah, obviously, Days Gone has seen a lot of delays, and it's just been a while since we've seen the game. I believe the last time we saw it like fully substantially was maybe like last year in the fall. Obviously, this game is Sony's big game, at least in the first half, alongside, I guess, Dream's Early Access. And yeah, the game obviously seems to be like a mid-step for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't really seeing this as like a God of War or a Spider-Man, but definitely something that either they're going to pass or just have dumb fun with. And that's how I've always seen this game. I'm not really taking too much of interest that this game needs to be a masterpiece for me. I'm just looking to have some fun with this game, and so far the previews seem to be justifying just that. Alongside this, Sekiro also finally got some previews out. I'd say this is more like new details on the game, although some of the Bloodborne community have finally like able to play the game, and like the Dark Souls savvy people have been able to like fully go into it. And apparently the game's supposed to be harder than the previous like From Software games we've seen. Apparently it's more detailed and stuff. I haven't really watched the videos on it because I personally want to stay away from that stuff. We're 2 weeks away, which is kind of crazy. Like obviously I mentioned in my last video, Sekiro is kind of sneaking up on me here. Just looking forward to playing it and just enjoying it and jumping into the world of Sekiro. So yeah, can't wait for that game. Apparently it's supposed to have a quite difficulty curve despite like obviously, it feeling less punishing, at least in terms of footage I've seen. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, this news is also dropping around the same time that, Activision announced, or pretty much has stated, and it's been confirmed now, that Sekiro is not getting any review copies. Activision's not sending them out. That concerns me still. A lot of people are saying it's From Software, have trust and stuff, but if it was From Software, why aren't they sending review copies? I'm not really worried about the game at all. It just seems kind of weird. There's people that are looking at this in a positive note, obviously, because a lot of people just don't care about reviews in general. So yeah, I'm still personally scared. I feel like the only times that happened before is only bad situations. I can't really think of a game that didn't have review copies that things went smoothly, besides obviously online only games, and maybe the occasional Bethesda game I believe had no review copies at times, but besides that I've only like led to bad things, so I'm kind of concerned. But I'd still say I have faith in From Software, so yeah, only 2 weeks away now. Hopefully the game turns out to be good. Alongside this news, Nintendo dropped their own news, which is very different from Sekiro details. I don't know why I said that as a transition. Nintendo Labo's 4th kit has been announced as Nintendo Labo VR. I'm going to be honest, this is a terrible idea in terms of my idea. You know, obviously VR is something I care about. It's something that like I'm really looking forward to seeing what Sony does with the PS5 in terms of it's supposed to be more, obviously, you know, functional and built in right from the get-go. VR is something that you kind of need a powerful device to do it. Nintendo Switch with its 720p screen doesn't sound ideal, especially with like possible 30 FPS, 60 FPS. I mean, if it's going to be 60 FPS, I guess that's fine. I think obviously the Switch can run that kind of stuff, but the Nintendo Switch and cardboard in VR doesn't sound appealing to me, especially with like, yeah, at a $70, $80 price point made of cardboard. Just, I have fears that people are going to try this for the first time as it's like a budget thing made by Nintendo for VR, and it's just going to turn people off. I really don't like this idea at all, honestly. If you want to try VR, I wouldn't even recommend like the $100 Samsung VR stuff. I've tried that too. You really kind of need like a Vive or like a PSVR if you really want to fully feel how like high-tech VR feels, and I feel like this can only put people off of VR as a medium and just throw it away and maybe make kids nauseous, because like 720p like screen, like yeah, the game might be 1080p and 60 FPS like some games on their systems are, but 720p screen into your face doesn't sound ideal to me. Yikes. This is dropping in April, I believe, April 12th, so it's coming out here soon, so we'll be interesting to see what people think of it, you know. I personally won't be buying it, obviously. I've never really cared for Labo. I don't want cardboard in my house. I'm not going to buy cardboard, but yeah. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking out for that news and impressions, definitely. Xbox is reportedly releasing a discless version of the Xbox One family consoles in terms of, you know, obviously it being a discless Xbox. Obviously, this will be like more in favor of Xbox Game Pass and digital downloads. This is scarier for something like GameStop, which is already hurting. And yeah, rumors are saying it's supposed to be $200 or sub, which seems like a good price point. I don't know how much that the disk drive really counts for like a console's manufacturing, because obviously this still needs to be able to like run games like a normal console will. So it is still a console, it's just taking out the disk drive, which is kind of odd to me. Like, is it really worth just taking out the disk drive and cutting like what, $50 maybe? I don't know. Xbox is apparently supposed to reveal this soon. I imagine it's going to be revealed here soon if it's coming out in May, so yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously the fall of GameStop is coming imminent, and this is only going to hurt it more. It'll be interesting to see what Xbox does with obviously their next full Xbox system, you know, next generation Xbox Scarlet, so yeah. And yeah, I guess that really covers the news. I mean, alongside that, Just Cause 4 was suddenly dropped on Xbox Game Pass, so surprise, you got another game if you own Xbox Game Pass. And yeah, next week we're seeing Division 2 drop, which is pretty exciting for some people. I personally won't be buying it, but definitely let me know in the comments down below if you are. And of course, this week we saw the release of Devil May Cry 5, so yeah. Definitely let me know your thoughts, of course, as I said earlier, in the comments down below if you're playing it. And yeah, hopefully it's a good weekend. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend yourselves, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching this week's rundown, and I'll catch you next week. Take care, everyone.